build a micro SaaS with me using AI, and let's see if we can make a little money. Nowadays, when you run into a problem with an app or a website, AI lets you build your own version of that with all of the features you want, none of the features you don't. You can even take that product to market and sell it to people. For example, my daughter's school was doing a fundraiser, and we sent the link to the fundraising site to my mother-in-law, and she had a terrible time trying to make a donation. The site was just a really bad user experience. What I'm going to do is build a micro SaaS that is a fundraising site for schools, parent-teacher organizations, daycares. We're going to do it from the ground up using AI, and we're going to get some customers on. Go ahead, follow along this video series, and we will take an application using AI from zero to a money-making application online. We're going to go over to Replit to build this application. This is going to be our little mini SaaS. We're going to take this through to production and see if we can get a customer on it, maybe 2 or 3. What we're doing here is building out the first version of the application. I have a logo that I provided. I've given it colors. I've given it the domain name that we're going to be using just so it knows. And then I've pasted in a PRD so that we can have that here. That's in place. And we are going to start here on Replit. If you want to see the process of doing PRDs and making logos with AI and things like that, I have other videos about that on my YouTube channel. We will link to those in the description so you can see those. You can use our prd.opeachy.ai tool for making yours and getting the first version of your app put together. We're going to let this run for a little bit and go through its build process. It's going to ask me a couple questions here. If you've already used Replit before, it asks if you want to build a certain set or if you want to do just a design first. Then we will tell it to build right here, build the entire app. Okay. We're going to let it do this process and start building. Here it has set up our first little bit, and now it is asking for our Stripe API keys. You can go get your Stripe keys for something like this from your Stripe account. I have other videos that show where to get those keys. We'll link those in the description. We're going to go ahead and put in the keys. I've pasted them in here, and I'm going to tell it to continue. This has been working for a little bit. Let's go ahead and see what it's built. We have a page active. Let's see what it says it has created here. Task 1 is complete. Now it's working on the back end. Okay, it used Replit Auth, which I did not ask it to do. We're going to have to take that out. It's going to look through and see how that build appears. Take a look at the files here. It's created a few pages for us. In the back end, we've got some basic setup that we would expect. Let's take a look at the console. See if there's anything there to see. Okay. Now, because this used Replit Auth, I want to take that out, but I do want this application to be very easy for people to log in, sign up for. So I think we will integrate either Clerk Auth or Supabase Auth for this application once it is done with the first build. Here is Clerk. We will prepare it here for our auth that we're going to integrate. Right here, this is a preview of what it would look like. To start with, I've enabled the email, sign in, phone number, username sign in, and Google. So we would have that capability. There's other stuff we can add here as well. But we'll start with these for our initial setup. Once the build over here is completed, let's take a look. It's given me some options. It's asking for some test keys for Stripe. I'm going to go grab my test keys and drop those in. Here we have a Stripe Sandbox that is just ready for us to work with. You can create a Stripe Sandbox in your existing Stripe account over here. You can add sandboxes in or switch back and forth. And these keys are just test keys, so we're going to copy those right into the app. Let's see. That should be the secret at the top there. Drop this in here. We will continue with those keys added to our secrets. Here it has some ideas about future stuff to build. Let's copy those here and dismiss this. We're going to say, do not make changes. Make a list of these recommended features in a next steps MD. Put that in so those are saved with the application here in our files. It's going to write that file for us. Going back over to Clerk, we're going to create application here so that we have this application. Then it gives us the setup instructions, and we are going to share these setup instructions with Replit here in a minute when we go to take out Replit Auth. We created this MD file for us right here with these future enhancement ideas, just so we don't lose those ideas. We can come back and look at them later, see if we like them. Now, the next thing here, we're not going to do any more changes in this conversation, but we are going to have it give us a summary. We're going to say, do not make changes, review this application and tell me what is built and tested, what is stubbed out, what is not built at all, and what is entirely placeholder or fake. Change this to plan mode so that it doesn't take this as any sort of instruction to go do a bunch of testing. We're going to get a list here of everything that it made or didn't make. We don't want to just assume, because it said it put everything together, that we have a functional app here entirely. This is a big gap right here. We're going to say, put that summary in a first build.md file. Do not make changes. Send that on its way. And now we can see here it's created the first build MD. We're going to see that over here. So it has that list for us so we can keep an eye on that and go through and test each of those pieces. The next thing I want to do in this application before we do anything else with it is fix the Replit Auth issue. We have our clerk here. We're going to grab React because that's what this app was built in here. And we're going to copy the quick start guide to integrate this into our application. We're going to go back over here and no more conversations here in this chat. We are going to do a new chat. We're going to say, please remove Replit Auth and replace with Clerk Auth. Here is your instruction set for integrating. Okay, we're going to paste that in. And that's this set of information here. There's all those instructions in an easy form for the AI to read. And we send that on its way. Whenever you can, make sure you copy in instructions. If you have an application that you're trying to do an integration with, copy in the instructions if you can, and it will help the AI reduce hallucinations, reduce its guesses, and give you a better output. Now it has put this in place and it is giving instructions to get the publishable key. Going to get a PK test key here, and we're going to grab that. Now in this page, we'll see that they actually put the key in here for us. Copy that here and drop it back into the application. Click continue. And it has now restarted the application. Let's see what it's built out here. This learn more button doesn't seem to do anything. If we click get started, that doesn't, there we go. Yeah, it takes us to Replit Auth. So that's not a good thing. Looks like it's still doing the integration. We'll give it another minute to finish up. We can see here it's working pretty hard to do this placement, but it's moving through it. I'll let it get to the end of replacing out our auth, then see if we can run this and log in. Something I notice here reading through the first bill is it says it has a complete database schema set up and a storage layer. I do not see a database running here. That makes me think it put everything in memory storage, which is not sustainable for a production app because every time you do a new push, it would dump everything. We're going to have to go through and set up a database for that. Make sure we're not storing anything in an ephemeral manner that will be dumped whenever we restart the application. Okay, here it is now ready for the secret key. Paste that in here that I've copied. You can just follow these steps here if you're doing the same thing. And we are going to click continue. Let's see how close it is to being finished up here. This looks like Clerk in dev mode. That's excellent. Right here, it has done a little debugging for us. The console looks fairly clean for what we're trying to do here, and the app is running. It says that it's going to mark the task as complete and proceed with testing. I don't always like to let it go and do testing because it tends to test incorrectly and run around and make a mess of stuff. We're going to go over here and have it stop. Okay. And sometimes it will stop, sometimes it won't. We might have to click stop up here if it doesn't go ahead and finish up. It looks like we've reached a stopping point, so it seems to have followed that instruction at the moment. We'll keep an eye on it. I have opened it up in a new tab here, and we are going to try the Clerk integration and see if it works. Let's try it with Google. We'll grab an account and put in a username. Put in a phone number here so we can have phone number sign in as well. It is sending a code over to me, so we will grab that, put in the code. Now I am signed in. It looks like our Clerk Auth is in place. That's pretty awesome. All right, next up, we got to go through our list and check everything out, see what is still missing from that list and what seems to be the most important. So now we have the first version of the app working and we have Auth installed, and I was able to log in with my Google account, which would make it really easy for everyone using this application. In the next sessions, we'll go through and start testing things and building out the rest of the features to get this micro SaaS to a point where people can sign up and start using it for their schools. I'll see you on those next videos.